that helps the mind then not just reinforce it, but make it systemically sustainable. And so hypnosis and meditation are two of the prime tools I use in the synthesis process because they work together so well. And for those people who don't meditate, you're doing yourself a disservice because it is one of the most powerful tools in existence for helping you maintain energetic balance, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's been around for over 7,000 years, as has hypnosis, and there's got to be a reason for that. And the reason is it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No woo-woo, no mumbo-jumbo. It is just learning how to tap into the power of your mind to get your life working the way you want it to. That's all there is to it.
I like that. And what I wanted to just kind of jump in on for people, again, who are thinking, yeah, I've tried it, I don't get it. I've tried it, I don't get it. There's more than one way to meditate. If you have tried one method, try a different method. There's so many different ways to meditate. And you're absolutely right. The benefits are astounding. And it does feel incredible.
Yes. And to add to that, and that's a great statement, Laura, there are many ways to meditate. There are many uses for meditation if you learn different techniques. But the thing that gets most people is that, first of all, we live in a culture that wants instant gratification. Because of technology, we want it now. We want it instantly. We want our stuff. Give me my stuff, and then I can be happy. And unfortunately, meditation is effective only with consistent, dedicated application. So that's one thing. You try it a couple of times, it doesn't work. And that's it. I'm giving up. So that's the first thing. You have to be consistent. The second thing is people think that it's supposed to work or not work. And that's not really true. What happens sometimes is that you'll get into a very wonderful deep state of focused concentration. Other times your mind just won't allow it. Let it be okay. You have to be consistent. You have to stay with it. There is no right or wrong. The only wrong with meditation is quitting too soon and not doing it. And every client I work with, every single one, regardless of why they come in to see me, gets some form, usually a dynamic meditative exercise to reinforce what we're doing. And I insist that they do it because if they don't, I won't keep them on as a client. And inevitably, people say after a week or two, Ma, that exercise you gave me is amazing. I can't believe how good I feel. And I say, well, that's good because you did it for a couple of weeks. Now just keep doing it for the rest of your life and you're off to the races. And then I teach them different forms of meditation and different uses and different outcomes. And it is just such a powerful tool to have. And no one's ever found anything that works better.
No. And I like how you said different meditations for different purposes and different outcomes, because it's analogous to me to, fitness. Working out, lifting weights does not give you a cardio benefit. Jogging is more for the heart. Lifting weights is more for the muscle. It's both working out, but you're getting separate and distinct benefits, and they're separate and distinct uses. And meditation is the same way.
Absolutely. And the product of working out with different ways, doing resistance, doing cardio, is that overall, systemically, you have a healthier, more energized, happier body. And then you have a happier mind. Meditation is exactly the same. And when you combine hypnosis and meditation, well, then you've got the best of both worlds, I think, because hypnosis really helps us make these changes that we're naturally resistant to quickly and profoundly. And then a meditative practice, when applied correctly, helps you maintain it. And then you feel like $1 million.
I love that. Okay, you just said something that I want to jump into because I think this is the conundrum for a lot of people. You said hypnosis helps you make changes that we're naturally resistant to. Correct. The conundrum comes in where we have the desire to make a change, but we can't seem to get ourselves to make the change. Like somebody might really, really, really desperately want to lose weight, but they can't seem to make the changes. Can you talk about the block as to why somebody could want something on the one hand, but be unable to achieve it on the other hand?
Absolutely. We, all of us, humanity, as a species, are naturally, innately resistant to change. The process or the state that we will cling to is called homeostasis, which is a word, homeo, the same state, stasis. And it started a long time ago, and you'd have to go back to the dawn of human civilization when our ancestors were roaming along, hunting and gathering, and they found this beautiful green valley, and it had lots of water and plenty of food and comfortable caves. And they moved in and they said, wow, this is great. We love this. And then some other group comes along and says, you know what? We want you to move. We want this place. You can't stay here. And our ancestors said, well, no, we don't want to move. Are you kidding? We like it. We're comfortable. This is what we know. This is our place. And that was the beginning of it. Now, you take that through thousands and thousands of years of human development. We haven't come very far from a psychological, emotional level from those ancestors. We like things familiar. And so let's take weight loss. It's a perfect example. Even though we want to lose weight because we know we're going to feel better, we're going to look better, there's no downside, the choices we have to make require us to get out of that familiar comfort zone. And so homeostasis kicks in. And because the subconscious mind, which is where most of let's talk about the subconscious mind a little bit further because this will really make it clear. The subconscious mind is like a 3-year-old child. It never gets any more sophisticated than that. It can't tell the difference between good or bad or any of that. All it knows is positive inputs and negative inputs, positive behaviors, negative behaviors. That's all it knows. And like a mechanical computer, once it's programmed, it'll play its programmed over and over and over again. It likes the familiar. The conscious mind is the part of the mind that says, hey, I want to make a change. I want to lose weight because I'm going to feel good. And willpower says, well, that's my job. I'll take on. But unfortunately, if people know the difference in mass alone between the conscious and the conscious mind is about 10% of the human mind. That's the part that we rely on so heavily in Western culture. The subconscious and spiritual part of the mind is 90%. So the way I explain this to my clients is imagine this. You want to lose weight. 10% of your mind says, great. This is a tug of war. That's 10 guys pulling one way on the rope. Your subconscious mind says, oh, no, I can't do that. It's too hard. I got to go to the gym. I can't. That's 90 guys pulling the other way on the rope. Who wins? That's homeostasis. So that's why we need assistance to make these kinds of behavioral, emotional, habitual changes. Because that subconscious computer, unless it's reprogrammed, is going to keep playing those programs over and over. That's where hypnotherapy comes in. It helps us get by that natural resistance. I don't know if that works, but that's how I explain it.
No, it's funny because I was like, hey, that's exactly how I explain it. That's perfect.
Good. Then let's say we're right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we were educated and it's somebody who taught us new. Wow, go figure. So when you are using your program and you're combining the hypnosis and the meditation and you're working with clients, it helps them alter their subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. It also helps them access some of that spiritual power, which I think goes to that willpower aspect of things. We want to become a better person for whether it's religious reasons or spiritual reasons. It feels like it accesses a little bit more of that, just the human goodness that I want to shine, that I want to be better than myself. And that is, willpower is powerful. Spirituality is powerful, but you're right. There's a lot of different aspects that are coming together in your program here.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that natural wanting to be better. When we're born, all of us, we are full, absolutely full of unconditional love for ourselves and anybody that wants to give it to us. We are also full of perfectly formed and vastly abundant self-esteem when we're very little. So when we're very little, and none of us can remember this, we know instinctively we're perfect little beings. There's no such thing as failure. We don't care what anybody thinks about us. And if we want to accomplish something, we just go out and do it. And if it doesn't work, we don't think, oh my God, I'm done. I can't do this. We just keep at it with a big smile on our face. We have to learn that love is a conditional emotion. We learn to place our self-worth in the opinions of other people. And they're doing some amazing studies now with little kids. And they're finding, they being scientists, are finding that little ones are very, very consciously aware of their spiritual nature, whether we like it or not. This energy we call spirit has been proven scientifically to exist. Little kids know that, but then like other things, it gets beaten out of them because we don't really teach our children in this culture to nurture their spiritual energy. And I always separate spiritual energy from religion. They are two different things. Spirit is your nature. It is what you are born with. If you read the philosophies, and there's a lot of native philosophy in the synthesis process, if you read the philosophies of the indigenous cultures of the world, the primitive people, you will find that in their culture, their philosophies, regardless of where they come from around the world, the basics are pretty much the same. Spirit is number one. Everything else comes second. In our culture, spirit is last, and everything else comes first, the physical, the material, and the ego, etc. So it's really important to realize that it's in there, that desire, that innate desire that to love yourself, to honor yourself, to respect yourself, and to really esteem yourself is in there, but it gets buried as we're getting programmed as little kids. And a lot of what I do in the synthesis process, while we're changing the acute issue, whatever it may be, I always like to go down and get that stuff out of the mud. It's like a treasure. You know, that's how I describe it to my clients. It's like gold and silver under the ocean, and over time it gets buried. It's down there, this incredible treasure, but if you don't bring it up, you can't use it. Same thing with your self-love, self-esteem, and your spirit. You got to dredge it out of the mud, but once you do, wow, it's amazing.
Wow, I like that. I was not aware that research was being done along those lines, and that makes me gloriously happy. That's phenomenal. So tell us some more about the synthesis process. And I understand that you do the meditation. I understand that you use the hypnosis and you work into that spirituality. But right. What are some of those strands that you use? How does this all come together?
Well, it really starts before we even start in the clinic. And when I decide to take a client on, and I don't take everybody, I only take ones that I think are going to be a good fit, because I screen them to see where they are as far as desire is concerned. But I always start by creating understanding. First and foremost, I let people know what energies they need to bring to the party to create the change, because this is another thing. We don't think of ourselves as energetic machines, but really that's all we are. We are energy. We manifest energy in a lot of ways. And if you really break it down, and again, this is not something I'm making up. Science is proving that everything in existence is essentially made of the same stuff, pure energy. They've actually found the smallest particle of energy that they think exists in the universe. And everything that exists, including us, the sun, the stars, every atom in our body was once part of a star. So if we think of ourselves as energetic machines, and we think of living as nothing more than an exchange of energy between ourselves and the environment, energies come in a lot of ways. We breathe in air, we see light, we hear, we touch, we taste, all that. Energy goes out. We think, we move, we behave, we pee, we poop. Energy in, energy out. How that energy goes in and out has a huge effect on how we're feeling. In other words, through our energetic exchanges, we literally, this is something that I drill into every client and student I work with, we create our own reality. It doesn't feel that way, but we do. It feels like life is happening to us. So when I show them through my models how we create our own reality and what energies we need to bring to the party to change that reality, and how we're going to use the tools to make that change at a subconscious level, we've set the stage for the transformation. And you can literally see someone that's sitting there for their first session as I go through this process and I introduce the models and the techniques, and then how the mind works and why they are the way they are. And then they realize, hey, it's not my fault. There's nothing wrong with me. This is how the human mind works. I thought it was only me. Everybody thinks it's only them. It's not. We all have stuff. But when you set that stage, now you have primed, it's like priming a pump. So that's the beginning of the synthesis process. And then in that process, I create, or at least I attempt to create, enormous expectation for success. Because again, we are now proving scientifically what the primitive people of the world knew a long time ago. Manifestation is not about seeing in order to believe. It's about believing in order to see. That's how we literally create. So If you expect results, then you are going to create the energy to obtain them. If you don't expect results, this is what I tell everybody, then don't expect results. And so that's the setting of the stage. And then we begin the process using these incredibly powerful tools.
I love that. If I were a listener to this show right now, I would be so excited. I would feel so empowered that it's my energy, that it's my thoughts, that it's my beliefs, and the tools exist to make it happen. It's not just a happy little thought in my head. There are actual tools, and this guy can help me get there, and we can get there together.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's enormously powerful. So what are some of the changes that people have gone through that your clients have experienced? I know you've talked about, kind of the big four, but what are some of the more elusive, maybe even esoteric changes that clients you have had have been able to create in their life using the synthesis effect?